Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So I hope you are all doing well. Today is my weekly update video. I'm actually enjoying sitting down and having these conversations about, my weekly weight loss on my journey. I'm also gonna share some tips on how I'm dealing with stress from work and really just how I need to handle, things when my routine gets thrown off. So let's go ahead and dive into today's video. All right, so this week I lost 1 pound. Not a huge jump. I think progress is progress. I celebrate even a half a pound sometimes, but I'm happy with it. I think losing a pound to some may be like, oh, that's not a lot, but it's 1 less pound that I had the week before. Carrying around 1 less pound, it's a win in my book. And I also, have to keep reminding myself that it's not about quick fixes, like drastic changes. I just have to keep staying consistent, enjoy, just celebrate the small victories, the things that keep me motivated. And, as much as I hate to say it, slow and steady wins the race. I'm trying to keep that in my mind at all times. Also, I decided to decrease my dose down to 7.5 because that fatigue was just awful. I really tried to adjust my calories, but I was tired all the time. And I think the next best thing for me to do is to go down in dose. And we're going to see what this week brings. I'm definitely going to provide an update again next week. But overall, I feel like I've been sticking to my routine, just as much as I can. But I think, I have to be honest with myself. Sometimes life doesn't go as planned as much as I try to plan and control things. So, with work being super busy, my routine really got thrown off this week, and it's going to for the foreseeable future. And I felt like I had some stressful moments, and I'm trying to keep my stress levels down. And I know that stress can really derail progress if not careful. And it happened to me, I feel like, over December and January. And it's a reason why I wanted to talk a little bit about some tips in today's video that I'm hoping to apply to just reduce stress in my routine, my amazing routine. I loved my routine. I've been perfecting this routine for the past couple weeks, and it's going to change again. I will be okay with it. That's what I'm telling myself. And you also might be thinking, why can't you just go with the flow? Apparently, I'm not good at that. But let's get into it. So this week I was asked to take on an additional role in my company, and I have to go back to managing a team, which is not a problem at all. There was no stress at all. I was excited for the opportunity. So I will basically be handling some operations and production work for some of our businesses in another country, but that country is also 4 hours ahead. So I was like, okay, I have to adjust for that, but I'm maintaining my current role in the business, and that's on the East Coast. So I got to figure all this out. And I was like, still not really stressed. I'll figure out my hours. I'm an early riser anyway, and I really love to be busy. And then it came time to talk about, my transition, how is it going to take a week or two to get me into this role? A little more things I needed to figure out. And it was like, no, we needed you in this role last week. We need you just now. It's too late. We need to get you, we don't have time. And I was like, okay, I feel the stress building up a little bit. I was feeling like the urgency was there, and everything was getting dumped on me all at once. And then I realized, my new daily routine of my walks at lunch, my gym sessions right after work, I'm used to them being at certain times, and now each day could be different. And it was at that moment that I realized a major fault in myself, that I don't do well when my routine throws off. Because after that meeting, it was lunchtime. So I got up, went for my walk. And the entire time I started thinking about pizza and Chick-fil-A. And I was like, maybe I'll just quickly run into the store. I feel like I want a cookie, chips. It was very eye-opening how quickly my mind went to those foods, because somewhere deep down inside, I think I still cope with stress and unknowns by bringing snack foods into the mix. And I realized that when I get into a routine of my lunchtime walks, my, gym sessions right after work, I follow, my splits, upper, lower, day off, upper, lower, day off. And, when something happens, like even a doctor's appointment, quick weekend trip, or just unknown things like now with this new work schedule, I react for looking for food instead of just taking things day by day and making a decision hour by hour. And I've never realized this before, that my healthy habit streaks, when they get disrupted, it takes time for me to get back on track. And I think this new role is also going to allow me to have this like realization and figure out ways that I can just look at some stress relieving tactics, and so that I can just keep thriving on my health journey. So I spent this weekend just relaxing, getting organized, and just looking up some stress relieving tactics to remind myself what I need to do, really with the goal of learning how to cope with stress and not letting it sabotage my efforts. And I came up with 3 tips, and I wanted to share them in today's video. And comment below if you find that something so simple like, let's say you miss your workout for that day. Something comes up and you can't go to the gym and you can't do your workout. Do you pivot? Do you do it the next day? Do you just say, you know what, I'm going to start over next week? This is a very fascinating realization for me. I would love to hear, how you guys deal with curveballs that are thrown your way during your weight loss journey. Honestly, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just a little weird quirk that I have to work through. But I'm really happy I figured that out in myself. But I think the first thing I want to do is just really prioritize self-care. Because like when work gets hectic, I think sometimes I forget about myself and I spend so much time working that I'm like, maybe I just need to do some stretching, shorter walks to maybe reset the mind, not a full 45 minute walk. Maybe I have to do them 2 times a day. Just take a moment for myself so that I don't burn out quickly and get stressed. And I am going to rely heavily on my walking pad to make sure that I'm not sitting all day. And just by some slim chance I can't get to my outside walk, I'm working on this. I will be fine knowing that my 2 1-hour walking sessions at my desk during the workday is enough. It's going to be enough. And then next I want to try to just set some realistic goals, because my schedule is going to be all over the place and I can't beat myself up for not hitting these bigger targets that I have. I want to start doing small, more achievable goals. Like maybe, as I said before, 10-minute workout, or, just prepping a meal for a day or 2 instead of the full week. I think little wins will eventually add up and help me deal with this. And I also heard something really interesting in a podcast, because somebody was telling a story that when they were at the doctor's office, they told their doctor, I'm going to commit going to the gym 5 days a week for 1 hour. And then a couple weeks later, they went back to that follow-up doctor's appointment, and the doctor asked them, how are your gym sessions going? And they said, I didn't go. I don't have an hour in the evening to go. Plus it takes me 20 minutes to go, to and from the gym, and sometimes a little bit longer when there's traffic. So the doctor said, tell me what you can commit to. And that person said, I can find 30 minutes, 3 days a week. I will walk around my neighborhood, and then I will do a 20-minute dumbbell workout at home. A couple weeks later, they went back to the doctor's appointment, and they were so excited because they stuck to the plan, and they were actually, instead of walking 30 minutes, were walking 40 minutes. And now their kids are joining them, and they're having evening long walks. And I think the key for me is to find something that I can succeed at. And in my case, I may just have to do 3 days a week of strength training and then just bring my A game at those 3 days. And I think it's better than just not strength training at all. And then also my last tip, this is for me to hear, is to stay flexible. I'm saying this to my future self, stay flexible, because life happens, routines get disrupted, but that doesn't mean everything is lost. I think I got to learn how to adapt, and I need to repeat constantly that to myself. I think every single day, learn to adapt, that my usual, routines may be thrown off a little bit, and I just will have to find time to fit things in and stay just relaxed and flexible. And there's going to be setbacks, but I will work my way through it each and every day. But I wanted to share that with you all today. I felt it was interesting that even with minor setbacks and realizations, that I am looking for ways to improve on them. And I wanted to share the tips with you that I was learning today. And I can't believe how something so simple as, you know what, you may not be able to go to the gym at a certain time. You might have to fit it in at lunchtime instead of your lunchtime walk, and just kind of playing through that. And one day may not look the same as the other. I think that is a very interesting test for me as I'm taking on this stressful role. But I hope you enjoyed today's video. I wanted to keep it, simple and short. I'm very, very happy with my 1 pound weight loss. I'm actually really happy to be going down in dose to 7.5. I really think that, and I say this, I'm not a medical professional. I want to be careful with what I'm going to say next, but I think if I was just starting out and I was seeing that I had, 80 pounds to lose, I probably would push through the fatigue, because I think your body adjusts as you go and you're just starting. But now coming up on 2 years in, I don't think, for me, as I have just a small percentage of goal weight, like to get to my goal weight, I have a small percentage left of, weight to lose. I don't want to fight through the fatigue anymore. It was really hindering it on the day and things that I enjoy to do. I was just like, God, I'm so tired. But I just wanted to share a little bit of how this week was going. I'm working today on figuring out some of these little small achievable goals I want to come up with. And also, nothing really is truly set in stone in terms of, days and hours just yet. So I think for right now, this is a great week for me to start learning and just slightly implementing some things. But I know in the coming weeks, things are going to drastically change. But I hope you enjoyed today's video. Don't forget, as I said before, comment below if you've experienced any of setbacks due to routine changes and how quickly you were able to bounce back. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any future videos. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.